That's
Guess we're doing this. It's gonna be something completely different to what we're used to. Hi everybody.
Hello.
This is gonna be the first one of what I hope to be many of our podcast. An inconsistent one at that, but yeah.
Indeed.
So, what shall we do first, Callum?
Well, you start off. You're the main man here.
I'm the main man with the plan.
Yes.
I thought we'd start off by introducing ourselves. So, Mr. RCBT, please tell us your name and age.
Hey, do I even need to? Pretty much.
Shut up! You're not PewDiePie. Come on.
Alright. You know, calm, and I'm 17, and I play a lot of video games. Pretty much.
That's all you need to know.
Pretty sure.
I am Corey. I'm 16 years old, and I also play too many video games.
But that's what it's about, eh?
So I thought a part of introducing ourselves would be to discuss things that make us who we are. So things like interests, hobbies, stuff like that. The whole 10 yards.
Indeed.
So,
Alright.
Mr. RCBT, could you tell us some interests / hobbies that you have?
Well, I'm weird and what, like, I kinda guess the main things is, you know, I love art, you know, painting, all that. I also love to bloody I box. I like boxing. Love the goddamn sport. It's beautiful. And games, and I love streaming as well. Cool people.
Well, I'm quite weird with my interests and hobbies. I have a lot of them, but I think the first one is obviously gaming. You can see because I'm playing a fucking game right now. But yeah, the first one was gaming. Second one would be acting. I really like acting. I like the challenge. That's what I like most. I like the challenge of trying to take on someone different that isn't yourself. You're trying to become someone else. Like photography. Just because capturing a moment forever. It's kind of cool.
I like
nice.
it.
It's very good. It's very not beautiful is the word, but very nice hobby to do. I like basketball. I really like like basketball. I think it's just fun. It's a good way to exercise because people hate running because it's running. But in basketball, you run for an objective, and then you sort of don't realise that you're running. So it's a good way to get fit. He says, "Well, he's fat as fuck." I like going to the gym as well. Gym's quite fun for me, like weight training. What are your thoughts on weight training, Cal?
I prefer bodyweight. I don't do much. You know, I do no weight training actually, unless it's like dumbbells really. I prefer just press up, sit up, full person really, just like bodyweight, you know, pull ups.
I can't do many pull-ups. Probably because I weigh so much, but I can't do pull-ups. What I can do is bench press. I like bench press.
Fair enough.
It's a good little
You were going to talk about
exercise.
Well, do you want to do so what we going to talk about today? What?
the first thing we were going to talk about is goals. Not relationship goals or any of that bullshit. We're going to be talking about normal goals. Like, not any particular type, just goals in general. So it could be like your grades or like skill development in sports, like boxing for you. Or just something that you'd like to buy, so you set a goal for it. So I think good thing about goals is they have the ability to give hope if they're a reasonable goal. So if you say like, oh, I could be the best player in the world at some sport like football, realistically it's gonna taint your hope if you set that goal. It's like, I'm gonna be the best player in the world. I think that if you set out with that in mind, you're gonna have a lot of toxicity in your own head.
Yeah, but also at the same time, it's like what is it called again? It's what Conor McGregor does, and quite a lot of people do, is they vision themselves winning and being the best, and it puts a positive attitude towards them, and it really just motivates. Like, that's worked with me before when I've been sparring. Yeah, it's I can't remember. Does anyone know what it's called in the chat? But like in sparring, I've had times where I've just been destroyed because I've not been motivated to fight. I've just been like, I'm gonna get here. I just go into survival mode rather than to impress. And law of attraction. That's it, Carl.
Carl is the main man. I just sold that gun when I tried to fill it. Fuck's sake. Very professional. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think they can be, if they're unreasonable, they can be quite harmful.
Yes.
So like, being the best is sort of like not a bad thing. It's like, I'm gonna be, just, this is an extreme example, but say you're a guy and you'd be like, I'm gonna be the sexiest female alive. You know what I mean? It's just things like that. No offense, Mint. No offense, Mint. But it's things like that. It's just like things that can be impossible to achieve to a point.
Yeah. But for the things that you can, I think it's really worthwhile.
Definitely. It's really good.
On improving yourself as well.
I am so.
Improving myself. That's the biggest thing for me in life. You know, getting better at something. I level and master it. That's why I like art. I like boxing, and then gaming's a weird one. It's, well, yeah, for games, I like to become better. I like games with loads of depth and where I think
that's why you like Absolver so much.
Yeah, I love that game just because of how punishing it is.
How brutal it is. I was motivated like last night, right? Because I was up early. I went off like yesterday. I went offline, but I was up until about 4 o'clock, and I was just watching Anthony Joshua. Like literally, that's all I was watching. I was just watching Anthony Joshua, like, in all of his knockouts and his training regime. And I was thinking, you know, I could, not to that extent, but I could do that if I worked towards it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd have to work towards it.
Everything's a mind game, you know. It's about having the right mindset to do stuff.
But I was like, at some point in the near future, I'm gonna go on runs. I'm gonna start doing more exercise. Like throughout this entire holiday, I haven't done anything like remotely healthy, and it's just like the motivation I have. It's not there. But I feel like if I set a goal and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. You know, you can do that. I'll be able to achieve it.
Yeah.
And it's just the initial doing it. I think as soon as you start doing something, it will sort of set into a rhythm, like a routine, and you'll sort of get into it. But it's just the initial getting into it. It's quite good.
Yeah, like good habits. If you can get good habits, that's like just incredible. If you can do that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I have a very bad habit recently of just waking up and only gaming, and I don't like it in myself because it's not healthy. But like, I'm so bored and I have nothing to do that it's the only thing that I can do. Sort of thing. So that's all I've been doing.
I think it's hard to explain why I enjoy games so much.
Yeah.
And it's kind of being grown up with them. And
I think for me,
it changes.
Yeah. I think for me,
the reasons
it was
really.
because I didn't have a lot of friends that lived near to where I lived, so I didn't really go out too much because I had no one to go outside with and like play basketball or just like do sport.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have anyone to go around with, so I was like always inside, and I was like, you know what? Who's online? You know what? You know where I can find people and do things that I like? Online. So yeah, I was doing that for a while.
Right, so do you want to keep talking about this?
I think it's a good topic. I think it's healthy.
Yeah.
What would you say, in your opinion, is a good goal, like a healthy goal for the person?
I guess you've got long-term goals and short-term, because you can't just set long-term goals and get to the place you want to be. Like, I can just say, alright, but by the end of this year, a billionaire.
Yeah.
I'm just not, it's not gonna happen. Maybe I could start working towards it with, like, many goals. It's quite complicated making, like, a good goal, I guess.
Yeah.
There's loads of aspects.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, yeah,
letting it be clear is the main objective for a good goal. It needs to be clear, and you need to believe in that goal, that you want to do it.
I was gonna say, for a goal to be achievable, you need to believe it is. If you yourself set it and go like, nah, I can't do that, there's no point in you setting the goal in the first place, because you're already setting yourself up to fail. Because like with me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so thin, and like I'm gonna be fitter, I'm gonna be healthier, I'm not gonna be as overweight as I am. I just didn't stick to it. I was like, nah, that's not achievable, not for someone like me. But like, I know it's achievable because other people have done it way heavier than I am. And I know it's just like the mindset, and I don't think I have a mindset that I'm currently in that's good or that's healthy.
Yeah, there's so much temptation, eh?
Yeah.
Or
I think that's what it is, temptation to just like go, nah, that's too hard.
And like eating food.
Yeah, I eat way too much food. Food's just nice though. Food's tasty, but it's evil. It's evil.
Gonna kill some food because it's evil. Next antagonist of Borderlands 3.
Next antagonist of Borderlands 3 is it's just gonna be a massive McDonald's restaurant. Actually, no, it'll be like sort of called McFried Burger, and it's just like all the fast food restaurants like Chick-fil-A. Chipotle is my life.
Shitty McDonald's.
Yes, Shooty McDonald's, and it's gonna be inhabiting Face McShooty's corpse.
Nicely done. Go heal your teammates.
Yeah, he's just the best NPC.
He really
Isn't
is.
he?
He's so cool. He's so cool. Would you like to move on to another topic then, Cal?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about consistency.
Alright.
And specifically consistency in uploading YouTube videos, because we're really, really good at that, aren't we, Callum?
Oh god, if we're talking about actual uploads, consistency is not
And I don't.
Not there
I'm
for
not
me,
talking about
anyway.
live streams. I'm not talking about those. No, no, no. I'm talking about fully edited videos. Because I think we both suck at this, and it's not something we should be proud of. And it's something I hate admitting, but I have a newfound respect for people who upload daily. Like, at a good standard, not just uploading daily, just like a good standard of quality videos. I have a newfound respect for them because they manage to find quality in like recordings that I never could. Like I'm so annoyed with some of my my recordings. Like, how could I find that funny? That was awful. It was stupid. And I was like, it's not funny to watch or even to edit. And if it's neither of those, it shouldn't be in a video. But like, I have a newfound respect for people that upload consistently because they somehow find the entertainment quality to do it.
Yeah, you know, it's hard as well with like comedy and well, if we're talking like in terms of like comedy or just like satire stuff,
Yeah.
it's hard because it's all subjective. You know, some people might find it funny and others might not, and you know, some of my better videos I've not actually liked at all, and thought they were like just horrible creations. Which I'm gonna upload because I had done this video about 4 months ago and I didn't even realise, and I kind of like it now that I went back to it. It's like 4 months old, me on Dark Souls, just playing about in PvP and getting my ass handed to me, but I was like, the editing, I think put quite a bit of work into it. So.
Yeah, it's like, I find videos you edit more are the ones that are going to be funnier. Like, my last upload, I think it was called Overwatch Funny Moments or something like that. But, like, I edited that to a standard I've never edited before. Like, way more than I usually do. And I loved it. I think that's my favourite video of mine that I've created.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, it was because that was one of, like, I think 2 videos I've ever created that I've genuinely laughed at. And not like, huh, that's funny. I mean, like, I've laughed at parts of it because they were a genuine, like, I guess moments of, like, actual comedy. But, like, in other videos, I've just looked at them and gone, it can be seen as funny to different people. And that's not kind of what I want. But uploading consistent things that people who follow you, that they like, things that they enjoy to watch. Because they're the ones that are going to be watching it more than you. And it's just... I feel kind of bad for the people who watch my stuff, and they're like, huh, that's better than that. And it's like, you can... They're not improving because they go up and down, the quality of my videos. And I know that. But it's like... My last one is like, it's something I'm really proud of because it's actually good. But... I didn't put anything into it, really. Like, I just edited it. But, other videos... Sorry, excuse me. Other videos I haven't really done anything to, and it's not been funny at all, and that's just because of the nature of the video. I feel like Overwatch is a very subjective thing, because it can be... It's what I've made actual videos on before, but it's like... It's not funny, and it is funny at the same time. Because you have to... I find in most cases you have to create humour in that game, instead of it being just left on your lap.
I guess, yeah.
But and it's just uploading consistent stuff. That's what I like.
The thing is, where you've got like, you know, Filthy Frank and iDubbbz. These guys are like so angry when they upload, and they've got such a dedicated fan base. Like, when you see people like PewDiePie, who uploads, you know, pretty much daily. He most subs, but he only gets like 5 mil views, which is a lot. But when you look, you know, the actual amount of subs he's got, that is a massive, nothing. And the problem that comes to uploading consistently and every day is, if you're uploading the same thing, it's really easy for your viewers to get burnt out of your content. You know, it's always a risk with just doing the same thing, and it's hard because, you know, I've seen myself do this as well, and I feel bad because I'm like, I just don't enjoy the same content that I used to.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's due to just me, or just a lack of evolving in the content. That's why I kind of want to make sure the videos I make, you know, I try get them round about me more than the actual, you know, the personalities. You know, just having a cool community rather than...
Consistently uploading your personality means you're more liked, but it also lets people get a feel for who you are as a character. Like, I know I'm not the funniest person in the world, I know that, but at least, like, I try different sorts of humor. Like, I try... Like, my humor in real life consists of, like, sarcasm and self-deprecation, just because, like, of the things I watch, it's influenced me. It's a very British thing to do. So, like, Pyrocynical, all of his, like, successful videos have just been, like, insulting himself, and that's why they're funny. And that's why they're comedic. But, like, you've got other things, like American humor, that's actually quite funny. It's just, I think my sort of humor is very slapstick, and I think that's why it comes across what it comes across as in my videos. And it's like, it's hurtful, but it's funny, but it's because it's not actually like damaging anything. It's just funny.
It's really hard to become like satisfied with the content you make sometimes.
Yeah. I find it very difficult to actually like some of the content that I make.
Yeah, I always find myself in the position is that I really want to upload this. I just don't find this entertaining because...
Yeah.
Do you ever watch other people's videos and be like, this part isn't isn't that entertaining to me, and then you see yourself do it, and then you're like, I've just done that, and then you get to the point where it's like, I don't know if I want to upload this.
Yeah. I've done it.
Like my last video I made, I wasn't happy with it.
I find that with videos that I make, I've made 2 videos that I haven't uploaded because they're not funny, they're not entertaining. I spent that time on them, I've just looked at them and gone, there's no way that I can make that funny. And it's like, it's the fault of the content that I've collected, but it's also the fault of the editing, because there's nothing it can really do to make it humorous. Like, the things we're limited to are essentially like slowing time and zooming in and cutting at different times, and like pausing the video and just like doing that. But it's very simplistic humor. Like, very simplistic things have quite a high impact on different things. Like, just zooming in on something that's funny. Like, I zoomed in, like, I think in my last video I zoomed in 3 different times, and it added to it. When the fuck did I get this game? I got it for the PS Plus thing. It's just, it's part of the PS Plus bundle. So, do you think we're done with the consistency topic, Callum?
Yeah, I think it's all good.
So we burned through 3 topics in 24 minutes.
Progress.
It's a good thing we have another 3. Isn't it? Right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, it's your boy's favourite game. It's Borderlands 2. You thought I was going to say Destiny, didn't you?
Yeah. I was ready to flip tables.
I know, I saw you, like, in, I think it was on Facebook. Twan mentioned you. And, You fucking flipped, like, you just put one single emoji, and that was your entire reaction. And it was a Destiny 2 post. But anyway.
Alright.
Borderlands 2. I think it's
So what are we talking about?
I think we'll start off with the thing that every gamer will experience when playing it. The story.
I think the story's, in my opinion, heavily biased.
Yeah, heavily biased. Not just a little bit, heavily.
I think it's good. I love how the story is told, or like characters, whereas in games like Destiny, right, this is going to be a comparison. In the first mission of Destiny, you've got the wee ghost guy,
Yeah.
and he's like, caution, enemies ahead, better be quiet, or something like that. It's along those lines. And whereas in Borderlands, instead of that, you've got like Claptrap just screaming and running away, or something like that. I just think, I love that sort of humour. It's not like stuff that makes you want to laugh, but it's like kind of puts a smile on your face. Or like, you know.
I think I'm not gonna get into like a debate Borderlands versus Destiny, but I think the reason Borderlands has a better start to the game than Destiny does is because Destiny is purposely serious. Borderlands sort of looks at its humor and goes, yeah, that's funny, we'll make it even more. Or like, this is intended to be a funny game. And I feel like that is the entire story. But it's like, the story, despite it being comedic, is very, very well told.
You know, you've got arguably the best villain of video game history.
In my opinion, in my experience, not just my opinion, but in my experience, he is the best villain of video gaming history.
Because they always taunt you, he's always in your ear, and he's probably the best character in Borderlands. You know, he's such a good character. I really like Handsome Jack. I think he was done really well.
You love Handsome Jack.
Yeah, I kinda do.
You want his babies.
What? Who wouldn't? Handsome
Lilith,
Jack and
apparently.
Oxford. Oh, yeah, pretty much. They're quite similar. Axton and Handsome Jack. Is this real coincidence? I think not.
Handsome Jack is a commando.
Yeah. Commando man. I think
Commando
Borderlands was. It just really sits with. Think
In
maybe
your
playing...
opinion,
Yes.
does this game, not this game, but like, does the story get stale after the first few times?
Make your choices.
Well, no one can make a game where it's not going to get boring after the...
But like, I mean, because it forces you to play through it, each character 3 times, at least.
I guess. But at the same time,
Last chance.
you know, you've got those 3 different stages. I always think the first one is always, at the start, it's really boring, but once you start getting, like, leveling up quite quick, you start enjoying using the character, playing about with abilities. But then you get to True Vault Hunter, and it's just a drag. I hate True Vault Hunter because I don't find it fun, because you're used to the character, all the new abilities, the new playstyle, so you're a bit bored of how they play, and you can't really keep farming for guns, whereas in Ultimate Vault Hunter, it's kind of challenging, it's always at your level, it's never going to be over leveled, so you have to go away and do some side missions, and you can go back, farm the Herald, and use it throughout the campaign.
Yeah.
I think 2 times would be better,
Yeah.
but it does make it more satisfying when you get level 72. That's completely UVH.
Next topic of Borderlands is the characters. So,
I think,
like character design and stuff like that. Like the look of them, the appearance of them, the sound of them, and their roles in the game. Obviously, we know Face McShooty best designed NPC in the game. Just a fact.
So are we talking about playable characters or NPCs?
We'll start off with
like?
NPCs first.
Okay.
Finish the last ones off, so I can open
The NPCs, well, really good. They're all unique. You know, I don't think I've been in a game that there's so many contrasting personalities in the game. You know, you've got Roland, the just, you know, really stale, boring commando. You've got Tina, the crazy little teenager that's just absolutely.
You will refer to her as Queen.
You've got Brick, the guy that just wants to punch everyone. You know, he's a very outgoing muscle man. You've got. I think the character's really done well. They're all interesting without you getting too much to talk to them. You get enough to talk to them for them all to be memorable characters.
I think every character introduction is perfectly executed in that game.
Yeah.
Like every single one that is introduced to you gets their personality across and their mindset straight away. I think Tiny Tina's is, I'm biased, but I think hers is the best because you get the feel of her insanity and how she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So it's like she's singing a nursery rhyme whilst blowing someone up. Like you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, the characters are well done, and especially Handsome Jack.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they've been given lines. It's like they're an actual person with personality. They stick to the personality.
Yeah.
They make choices that they would, like in the Tiny Tina DLC where Brick just wants to punch everyone. It's just, it's just totally in character. It's not out of character. There's some. I'm trying to think of other games, but
yeah, you feel
there's
like...
other games where everyone acts out of character sometimes, just to be the hero or something.
I feel like the personalities are very well conveyed, just because of like, it feels like the personalities are real, and like, as you said, like they're not actually given a script, but it feels like they're sort of there, just talking, and you're just along for the ride because you've been given an NPC, like not an NPC, but like a body in that world.
Yeah.
And it feels very realistic.
Yeah,
and it feels like you're just partaking.
Memorable, yeah.
Yeah. I think every character that's relevant to the story can't be easily forgotten.
Definitely. And then you've got Moxie, Marcus, Zed, Scooter, Ellie.
Scooter's just a lovely guy.
Tina, she's kind of in this a little bit. She's got her own DLC. Tannis. Oh.
Tannis is just
they're all unique.
Shit crazy.
They're all complete different.
Yeah.
Completely different traits. You know, Moxie's got the, you know, the typical, the
fuck me daddy.
Yes, Marcus has got the, you know, just money is everything. Tannis, the crazy scientist, Zed. We're pretty much putting crazy in from everything. This is the other one. Yeah. You know, they're all the characters really good.
I feel like Zed doesn't get as much appreciation as he should, because he's like, he knows he's not a doctor and he knows he's not as qualified, but he still helps. And he's very humble. He's one of the only humble people in that game. Because if you get like, he doesn't like admitting it, but he's like, and Marcus as well. Marcus is like humble as well, because he's like, he realizes that without Roland he wouldn't have lived.
I just think good characters all around. Even Claptrap had I know everyone hates him, but I love Claptrap.
I was gonna say you have
I
a very
really
big
enjoy
bias
him.
when it comes to Claptrap.
I just... He's intentionally annoying and I think he does well. Oh, they're all... You know, you normally look at games and you've got like one standout character, whereas Borderlands has just got like so many stand out, and they're not even like they're not even the focus. You know, Last of Us, right? That's story driven. Ellie and Joe, they're so memorable. You know, just the two characters. That game is that is
Perfect.
like one of the best campaigns ever. Yeah, perfect campaign. Definitely difficult to get better.
I feel like because the direction they took, you can't make that game any better.
Yeah.
Like, for the game that it was when it was trying to introduce what it was trying to be, you can't make that game any better.
Also, another thing we have to hand off to Borderlands is it is 5 years old,
Yeah.
and games cannot achieve this many memorable characters that Borderlands does. Like, I can't think it. One second, I'm looking at my games, right? I'm looking at my games right now. Fallout 4, right? Probably no. Yeah, you've got Preston Harvey. That's the only one I can think of right now. And the dog. There we go.
The dog.
Dog meat. Is that his name?
Yes. Dog.
And Call of Duty. When was the last Call of Duty? There's a Mason.
Gaz is my favorite. Gaz is my favorite. Don't you take my sweetheart away from me. I love Gaz so much. I think he's amazing. He's a really well done character.
I have no clue who that is.
He's in COD 4, and he's essentially Captain Price's like side, right? Second in command. But he actually has personal, like, Captain Price is very man on a mission, job well done, get this shit done, right? Gaz is the personality that's just like, yeah, you did a good job. He's the meme that people use, like, good job, get to the next one. Like that one, that's Gaz.
Mission failed, boys. I'll get him next time.
But like,
that one.
he's such a good personality that he's been made a meme, and it's like, him as a character is actually really good. And I feel like he doesn't get nearly as much like exposure as he should, because he's a very well-known character. And he's like speculated in Modern Warfare. He's in Modern Warfare 1 as Gaz, but he's speculated to be a different character in Modern Warfare 2. Like the same guy, but like a different name. Because at the end of Modern Warfare 1, he gets shot in the face. But you don't actually see him die. Right? So he gets shot in the face. And in the next game, the same voice actor appears as a guy called Ghost, and throughout the entire campaign, Ghost has his mask on. So everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Gaz," but it's never actually been confirmed. Gaz does eventually die in Modern Warfare 2. Spoiler alert. He gets burned alive with you.
Damn it.
He gets killed and burned alive with you. I said spoiler alert. It's fine.
He turns into the cycle.
I think it's time to talk about... You said Borderlands 2 is 5 years old, right? I think one of the many reasons... it's not just one, there's a few. One of the many reasons it's aged well is its graphic design.
Yeah, that comes with it. As well, it's a niche graphic design, you know, a lot of people look at Borderlands, and that puts them off completely. So that was a risk they were willing to take for the long term. I reckon they probably could have... This is more related to Borderlands 1, obviously. Because that's where, you know, because Borderlands was originally supposed to be, you know, realistic, gritty graphics. And then they changed it to give themselves a... You know, if you see a screenshot, you know it's Borderlands.
Yeah.
Like the tech demo that they done, you can tell that's just Borderlands style there. It's unique.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, it's such a good looking game as well. It's so nice to
I
look
feel
at.
like
And
because of the way that they've made the graphics and designed it, it'll be timeless. It just
yeah,
will.
definitely.
It's not made to be realistic and therefore like the best. It's made to be slightly cartoonish, so that it has no time on it.
Mhm.
It's
And
made to be.
really, it holds up
Yeah.
today. I think it's, you know, I've just recently got back into it. Well, not recently, it's been quite a while now. But I genuinely think it is better than, like the past like 6 years is definitely one of the best, greatest games, you know, that I've ever. You know what? Fair enough. Out of every game I've ever played, you know, it's
Um.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good game though. You know,
Ports closed.
Should we
a lot of wee things.
Should we
Good.
talk about the playability of the game?
Expand on what you mean.
So, what I'm talking about really is the end game. The end game of end games. The ultimate Vault Hunter mode.
The end game. You have to really like Borderlands for the end game to be good. If you're looking for something else, the end game is really bad. But I don't think there's that much content in the game, anyways. It can be kind of dismissed because I can't. Borderlands has so much content,
Yeah.
so much quality content. None of, you know, it's so many Easter eggs, so many wee nods, and I think it deserves.
The Dark Souls Easter egg is like, whew, boy, that's nice. It's a very well hidden
and
one.
the Minecraft.
There's a Minecraft one? I'm genuinely being serious, I didn't realise there was.
There's a Minecraft one. You like you go underground. You like mine these blocks away, get into this bit.
Oh
and kill
yeah,
creepers.
that one, yeah. I was having a blonde moment. Shout out to all the blondes. But yeah, like it's just a good game.
End game is, like you said, I've said before, it is quite. You do. It feels so good to get there, and then you're like there. You're like, what do I do now? You get all your gear, and then the raid bosses. I think it depends on the. It's like Axton. I could play him for hours on the end game, whereas. Or like Gunzerker, I could just do raid bosses. I really enjoy raid bosses. I think that is the end game. You know, you've got the mobbing or raid bosses. You know, that's two end games right there.
Yeah.
You know, because you've probably played the DLC and that much anyways. You're not fussed about playing it again. So you need to really like it for that.
What do you think about the bosses? Not just like end game bosses, like raid bosses, like Pete and that. I'm talking about every single boss that's in the game. Like, not Savagely, sort of Bunker and Warrior. What do you think about them?
I think they're good bosses, but not in terms of design. Like, if we're talking about a game that's got the best bosses, I'm just gonna point right to Dark Souls. You know, it's the boss design for bosses in that game is phenomenal, and the thing is about Borderlands bosses is they're really unique. They normally just rely on like a few wee attack things. They don't really. It's not like you're fighting a Dark Souls boss, you know, where it's like high skill, high pace, and the focus isn't the bosses, but it's fair enough the Invincibles. I still find them really enjoyable to fight and kill, and just come across.
Yeah, I agree.
For all the raid bosses are really like done.
In my
And
opinion,
when you think about them,
yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for storyline bosses, I would have liked more. I would like more of them. I feel like there's only like 3 that are memorable. Even then, it's a push. You know what I mean? You got Captain Flint. You got Bunker, and you got the Warrior. That's it. They're the only ones that I can think of. Wilhelm, like, every single time I've gone after Wilhelm, he's not been that impressive. He's hyped up in the campaign to be this unbeatable thing because the other 4 couldn't do it. Every single time I faced him, he's been relatively easy. Even when I was on my 0, I think I was the level below, and I
difficulty
destroyed
subjective.
him. Yeah.
Rather than actual.
What do you think about the designs?
We're talking aesthetics or
Mechanically.
they're all unique, all different. I like that, but they're very basic, I guess.
I think
Better
the Warrior.
than other games.
Warrior's the best. Mechanically.
Let's call that your warm-up.
Mechanically, I'd probably have to say.
As in like campaign, not just Seraph bosses.
Campaign.
Yeah, campaign bosses.
Maybe the Warrior. I think he's really like just a spectacle boss. That's what he's about.
I feel like Bunker's just overhyped. Like if you were unsuspecting, let's say playing 0, right? If you were unsuspecting, you've just gone into the boss fight for the first time, and you invested in the perk Boar. You could accidentally one-hit him. Like, I know it's a long shot, right? But you could accidentally one-hit him without you even knowing what you just did.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that's underwhelming. Like, people would walk in and just be like, what, that was the boss? Because that's what I've done. Like, me and you farm him, like, in a minute. And it's like...
The thing is, you have to remember as well, the focus is more the actual... It's a looter shooter at heart, you know, it's all about the guns and the loot. And that's the driving force going throughout the campaign, getting new guns, new cool guns.
That was the topic that I was going to cover, but Borderlands 2 is very gun heavy. Like, unique weapons, different variations of the same weapon. Or is there like 7 billion guns or something like that? Probably more.
Quite a lot.
That's nearly all of them.
Does guns well. It really does.
Does guns very
balance
well.
better.
In particular, a certain gun called it begins with a H and ends in Atrold.
The Sawbar.
Yes, that one.
God.
You have a bias. I have a very big bias towards the Varuk.
The Varuk's a nice gun.
It
like
carried me through normal and true vault.
Really?
Yeah, because once you get halfway through the game, which is when the Varuk is available, most of the enemies are corrosion, and because it's most of the not corrosion, but they're armor enemies. So I just had the Varuk, and the spread is perfect for a loader, which is what the typical enemies are. So I was just having perfect spread, and it would eat through them in like 2 or 3 bursts, like 1 or 2 bursts, sorry. And it was just a good gun.
Yeah, it's a cool gun. Like, all the guns are really unique. They do guns brilliant. That's the best thing about Borderlands. And shields.
Yeah.
And like the classes a lot. Apart from Gauge and... Nah, Gauge. Just really Gauge that I've put. I don't enjoy Zero that much, but it's just Gauge. I think
enjoy Zero the most. I think I agree with you on saying Gauge is not as in-depth as the others.
It's more just like... It's like they weren't really thinking straight when making the kit, you know, there's no relation between... It's not really a good connection between her and our robot, and it just feels like a disconnect. I was watching Derv. No, not Derv. Derv. That's
The most loved YouTuber on the planet.
Derv. Talking about the Mega Man.
Oh god.
I hate my life.
What I don't like about the Necromancer is the fact that she has one build.
Yeah,
And
like
I know
one
that's
really
technically not true, because obviously no one has just one build, but she has one build that is useful endgame, and that's it. And it's the Shamfleet. That's it. Like nothing else is useful at that point in the game.
Yeah.
Whereas other things, like you got Axton who can run his grenade one, or you've got Zero with it. There's at least two. Like apart from Gunzerker, because Gunzerker is just Grog Nozzle Hole.
Yeah, take it the spread and if the way to fix Gunzerker would be just don't allow the passive ability on one gun to go to the other.
Yeah.
Then it'd be quite. He would not be the same at all. He would.
Because you've experienced before, like a money shot with a Grog Nozzle effect.
It's crazy. You know, that late game balance, he kind of just messes it up. That's I think the worst thing about the end game.
Yeah.
So the balance can be off. You need to, if you're going to make guns work that aren't the best, you really need to think about and make a really good build and tailor it to that.
Yeah. So, raid bosses, Seraph bosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mechanically, in your opinion, who is the best raid boss? Mechanically.
Probably Hyperius. So you've got Verastus maybe, he's just a pain in the ass though if you're not Gunzerker. So then that probably makes sense. Crom, he's quite cool, you can have Vermi in that as well. That's really cool.
In my opinion...
Vermi is just a bullet sponge.
Yeah, Vermi is a bullet sponge. But like, in my opinion, right, I think I'm biased because of the bosses that I like. I'm gonna bring up Destiny briefly, but in Destiny, the bosses that were there, they were mechanically coordinated, right? So you had to do a certain thing to be able to damage them. And I feel you're gonna hate me for this, but I feel like that's why Guy is the best mechanically. He's annoying, but I feel like that's why he's mechanically the best boss. Because the coordination was like, you got to do that first, and then you've got to get them in that, and then you've got to, then you can, once you've got his shield down, then you can hurt him.
Yeah.
But like, it's the bias in me with Destiny, because that's what you could do with like Atheon. You could do damage to him, but to get the good damage, the one that would actually kill him, you had to do the other thing.
And
I feel like that's
also,
why I'm
you're
biased towards
always
it.
on the edge, twitchy. You're always like, you
There's
know,
no
if that
certainty
acid
that you're gonna
does-
live, unless you do what
can
you
be quite-
you need to.
Indeed.
There's no certainty. But I feel like that's why he's my best mechanically. But I agree that Hyperius is very good mechanically.
They're just, I wouldn't say they're the best, but I think they're really just fun in their own ways and satisfying.
I feel like
You know, that's all
underwhelming is
it
Pete.
I
When you
think
first get
Pete,
there- What
he's
were you
good
gonna say?
though, because he's there's no BS when you're fighting Pete, really.
Yeah.
It's all, you know, like he telegraphs these attacks. It's like a Dark Souls boss. You know, Pete starts off really difficult, and then you start like, once you know what to do, you're good.
Dancer of the Boreal Valley.
It's pretty weird that a Dark Souls gameplay just came on as soon as we started talking about that.
Did we actually? Did it actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like only a 50-second clip as well, so the chances of that, I had no clue.
But yeah,
As well.
I feel like, in my opinion, Pete's very underwhelming, apart from when you first get to that level. When you first get to that level, you're like, oh yeah, we'll go for one of the raid bosses, and you can't do it. So you go to a different one, and then you do it, and then you end up at Pete, and you're like, I could do this one, it's telegraphable. But it's still difficult because you don't have the gear necessary to do it. And even if you do, it's probably underleveled.
Definitely.
Like when you first tried it, right? I think I was like level 56 and you were trying to level me up. But like you tried it initially and you couldn't do it because like you didn't it was because you didn't understand his attacks, and I think that's why he can be difficult. If you don't understand his mechanics, you can't beat him. But once you telegraph them, then you'll be able to.
Definitely.
So, moving on, the loot system.
The system?
The
like it.
Would you say it could be improved?
Everything can be improved, but
how would you improve it, in your opinion? I would say, if you're gonna make something rare, it should be at least worth it. And I don't mean like, I don't mean like just, oh, it's like 1 in 10 bosses. I mean like 1 in 1,000 bosses. If you're gonna make something that rare, at least make it usable at the end game. Hashtag Cobra. But yeah, I'm still not mad that you got the Cobra, even though I haven't even tried to farm it.
That does go more into the like balanced late game kind of thing.
Hmm. So, do you want to charter into unwanted territory, or would you like to still discuss Borderlands 2?
We'll go into that territory. I know what the territory is.
Well, it's a toss-up between two games, so, and neither of them you like currently. So, what do you want to do?
Right, just pick one of them.
Do you want to start the one with O or start the one with D?
Alright, Destiny or Overwatch?
How many viewers do you have in your chat?
Oh, Carl says Destiny.
Oh, Destiny 2, right? Ah, Destiny 2. In my opinion, from my experience with the Destiny 2 beta on PS4, I think it is a great improvement of Destiny 1. Comparing the first...
Let's
get the
biases out here.
No.
I hate
this is completely unbiased, right? Unbiased. I think compared to the first one, which is what you keep comparing it to, might I add, Callum? Compared to the first beta, I have played both. I am partially biased, but regarding that fact, I genuinely enjoyed it. Not because I'm just a fanboy, like, oh, I have to like this, it's Destiny. But, like, I think it was partly because I played the first one that I fully got invested in the storyline, the first mission. But it was also because of the way it drops you in, like... It's just... regarding the first part of the story, right? If you were to just be dropped in, and then as you walk through... There's so much emotion and character when you walk through the first mission, and that's what they were trying to get through. I think it's not a game. I think this is one thing it does bad. It's not a game for newcomers, and I don't think I'm not sure how I feel about it. Story-wise, it's not a game for newcomers. game, like end game wise, like raids and stuff, it's a game. It's a game for everyone. But story wise, it's not a game for newcomers. And I'm not sure how I feel about it because I'm not a newcomer, so I don't mind as much. But there's a lot of people that won't be.
You know,
You'll never buy it anyway, so just shut up.
yeah,
You'll never waste your money.
It really needs to do Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, right? And I don't see that. I don't see that in the gameplay. I've watched a lot of gameplay now, and I really don't see the massive changes. Fair enough, the story, but you know, you need to. How can we tell yet? I'm trying to think of games that have like great starts and just dry up.
Borderlands.
I think the thing that I don't know, the Borderlands starts quite bad, but then it gets a
I'm
wee
joking.
bit.
I'm only joking with you.
The level design was absolutely horrific in Destiny. That is the main thing they need to fix. Like, I'm sorry, but that game felt so repetitive just because of the level design. It was god awful, and it was really. The games like Doom are
Topic
so
Destiny,
good
Mike.
because how well the level was designed. Really,
I agree. The level design was quite poor. But the raid designs were outstanding. And like that's from a wow, this is a new encounter to the mechanics to the bosses themselves. One of the bosses I really didn't like, if I'm honest. I really didn't like. I thought the mechanics behind it were good, but the boss himself was just pointless. It was in this was I was talking about the first raid, but in Vault of Glass, there's one called the Gatekeeper, and it was the boss right before the last boss, and the mechanics behind him were good. You had to go in, get the relic, take the relic out, and then do damage, which is essentially what you do with Atheon, but it's pointless because it takes away from Atheon's battle. Because you're just doing the same thing. Except in Atheon's battle there are things called oracles. And that you have to shoot. And it's like that one little mechanic is like, oh yeah, we thought this so well. And it's just, did you really though? Like, did you? Like, you could have done
the
better.
last mission in Destiny
Like,
is
honestly,
what
right?
killed it for me.
As a hardcore Destiny fan, I won't deny that I am. But as a hardcore Destiny fan, I genuinely disliked the last mission. I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I'm not going to defend the last mission. It was pointless. I'm not even going to defend the missions in general. Because they were the same thing, essentially. The storytelling was lackluster. The level design was lackluster. The mission mechanics were lackluster. But for me, it was the promise that the end game was going to be good. And it to be fair, it was, in my opinion. It was good. It was not as good when it first came out as it was afterwards, because there was different things to do. But at the end game, there's only one thing to do in Destiny. But because of how rare it was to get to max level, because you had to have the specific drops and stuff, it was just difficult, and that was what the end game was. It was supposed to be rare. But in my opinion, Destiny it wasn't a great game, but it wasn't a terrible game. It was very middle ground. And I felt like the only reason it got the amount of exposure it did is because of the amount of money that went into it and the two companies that produced it.
500 million. I would just like to say 500 million to make that. Like, I think that's what makes it even more a disappointment to me. It came out not too long ago. They said it was going to be a 10-year game, which it wasn't. You know, Borderlands 2's been more a 10-year game, even though it's not even up for 10 years, and that I didn't even plan on.
We're not comparing it, Gal. We're not. We're just talking about it, okay? So, you know what? We went on a complete tangent because on this script, the first thing that was written down was potential improvements, and I haven't even talked about them yet.
It needs to. I don't see. You know, I don't think there's enough. I don't see enough in that game. You know, it seems more about money than actual the game being perfect. I think it is BS if games start working on DLC before the game is released, and it's done that twice now.
From what I've seen in Destiny 2 and the beta, I know I've only been able to play a little bit of it, but we're going to talk about the improvements that it's made. In my opinion, I'm not sure whether this is an improvement or not, because I've still yet to get used to it, because I haven't actually played it for that long, but it slowed down its gameplay. Once you unlocked certain abilities like double jump and stuff, gameplay was very fast paced. You could there was a speed run for a strike, and it was done in under 2 minutes. And this strike was supposed to take about 10. But in Destiny 2, the gameplay is a lot slowed down, so it's a lot chunkier, and it feels like it's supposed to be more gritty. And I like it, but I'm not sure how I feel about it because I'm used to the fast pace, and I'm not sure how to feel about the slowed down. Another thing I think it did well is its color scheme. It stuck to the color scheme of Destiny 1, but improved on its graphics and how it looked visually. I know it doesn't look as nice as it does on PC, but on PS4 it looked quite beautiful to me. Like, they kept design aesthetics for different things, so the Vex are very metallic and mysterious, they float and things like that. But
the Vex are literally they've been taken out of like a Halo game and just been remodeled a little bit and been like, here you go.
No, that's the Hive. That's the Hive. But yeah, what I did not like is that they've not introduced a new. I like and I dislike it. They've not introduced a new enemy.
What?
They've not introduced a new new type of enemy. To my knowledge, they haven't announced any, but they haven't shown any. So it leads me to believe that they haven't brought out a new type of enemy.
That is horrific. Like,
but
the thing is, it's like betas are normally the best part. Like, they really will leave a good impression. Because it's the full game in the beta. Like, do not kid ourselves and be like, they're going to change everything from the beta. Because that's just retarded. Yeah.
What was I saying? Because I said "but" too many times and I don't know what I'm saying now.
That is.
But that's what I was saying. They have added new enemy types to the factions that they've already introduced. So the Cabal they've reworked their classes as well. Like, not their classes, but they've reworked the enemies. So, hey Alan, they reworked the core Cabal that were in the first game, so they don't work mechanically the same way as they did before. So you've got enemies like the shields, right? In the first game they had normal shield, like massive iron shields that you couldn't break through and you had to go around them. In this game they have like a power core, and if you shoot the power core enough times, the shield will just break. But in the first game they wouldn't break, and they've added a hound, like a sort of hound type of enemy, like a dog.
Yeah.
And it's very unique in design. I don't think I've ever quite seen it before. I've seen I've seen things like it. I don't think I've seen things very similar to it. And they've added a gladiator type of opponent as well. So he's purely melee based, and he'll just run at you, and he's like heavy health, and he's quite slow. And they've just like added different types to the enemies that they already have.
To me, from what I've seen from the beta, it really looks like copy and paste. You know, you've got a copy and paste job and start to improve. It's like, for example, for school, 1 year you done an essay, and then the next year you take that essay and you just improve upon it. And it's not like it's been built up again from the ground to make the same sort of premise, but really make sure everything is revamped and made better. It looks really underwhelming, the beta gameplay, to me.
And what I liked, yeah, we're talking about Destiny. What I really liked about it was that they reworked PvP. They reworked PvP in a way that they completely remade it. Like, they made it 4v4 instead of 6v6. I feel that was really good, really beneficial to the player base. And a part of it is they've maxed out supers per game. Usually in games you're getting 3 to 4 supers a match, and it would just be like, it's part of the gameplay. But now, in a match, you get 1, maybe 2, depending on how well you perform, and that can change if you win or lose. Because you could have gameplay, and it's just you're getting screwed over, but you're only like 5 kills down, and what you need is a super, and then your team finally gets one, and you get those 4 kills back, so you're only a kill down, and it can change the tide of it. I think it's really good how well they reworked it.
They could go on for days talking about Destiny.
Well, I could go on about it singing its praise, and you could go on about tearing it down, but you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to defend it, and I could tear it down. Like, I can go in on it and say things I don't like. I really dislike how there's only one new subclass. I really dislike it.
Yeah, that was one of the parts I felt kinda...
In fact, I'm quite annoyed by it. But I'm willing to put up with it because they reworked all of the core ones. And I have yet to experience all of them. They only released 2 in the beta. You could only play 2. Like, on Warlock, for example, the Stormcaller one, which was in the original game, wasn't released, and the Arcblade was yet to be released on, and the Arcblade and Night Stalker weren't there for the Hunter, and the Sunbreaker for the Titan wasn't there. So it gives me hope that they can rework them or like make them in a new way. But I'm not holding out that much hope that they've made new ones. But I was quite disappointed.
Yeah. Just trying to avoid the gameplay.
You could just put different stuff in the
just...
background. Just put on different stuff.
Yeah, I'm just wrapping up.
I've stopped playing the game. I've stopped playing the game. I'm watching your stream actually. I've stopped playing. I stopped ages ago. But
Hey Steven. Hey Venom.
What I find that it needs is, I think the main thing that made Destiny what Destiny is the raids. That is the main thing. That is the key thing that it needs. It needs to have a challenging raid. And I'm not just saying like, oh, big bullet sponges that do high damage. I mean like challenging mechanically wise. Because if it's not challenging mechanically wise, there's no point in it being a boss. In Destiny, at least, because that's the bosses that they make. You need, for example, in the King's Fall. Thanks, Alan. But like, if you think about King's Fall, it was really difficult. You had to be very coordinated to do everything efficiently. You could do things like in King's Fall. What I liked is you could do things one way and you could do them another. It was just more efficient if you did it the harder way. But you could do it slower and the easier way, and that's what I really liked. But in King's Fall, you had like there was one boss that I remember. You could destroy 6 orbs in one thing, but you had to be really coordinated, and those 6 orbs give you extra damage, right? Or you could do 1 orb at a time, and you'd get the normal amount of 1 orb in, and then you have to restart. So it'd take much longer, but you're essentially doing the same thing. And it was mechanically challenging because you had to coordinate with your team. And I feel like if Destiny 2 doesn't have that, it's going to be a flop. Because that's what all of the raid bosses have been. What were you going to say, Cal?
In conclusion, to conclude this thing, I think there is room to be a brilliant game.
I think it definitely has enough nudge room to have. I think to have the ability to be a great game is a good way to put it. Not that it could be a great game or that it will be a great game or has. It definitely has potential to be. But will it or won't it is like. I will buy it regardless because I'm a Destiny nerd, and I like it. In my opinion, I think it's. The end game, not saying the entire game, the end game is good. Just like True Vault Hunter isn't good in Borderlands. That's not what I mean, but like True Vault Hunter is underwhelming in Borderlands 2. Every game has its downs and ups, and I feel like Destiny 2 has more downs than ups when you're getting to the end game than any other game does. You're a Destiny nerd too? I appreciate it, man.
If it can get things right, I think it's. I can do well, but I've been really underwhelmed by that. And I've been watching again because a part of me wants to be wrong. A part of me wants to be like, you know what? Maybe Destiny is good because I love Borderlands so much. You know, I want another Borderlands. And. It just isn't able to capture what Borderlands was able to capture.
Yeah.
I think it's just got PvP. However, probably going to talk about this for another 7 hours.
Nah, I feel like I've only got a few more things that I need to talk about, and then we'll move on. We've talked about boss fights. We've talked about the game design and how it's slower, how it's chunkier. Talked about the graphics, and we've talked about the classes, right? One thing we haven't. There's 2 things that I want to talk about. One thing, if we're talking about guns and stuff, is the armor. In Destiny 1, in my opinion, the core game, without any of the expansions, Rise of Iron and all that, the core game, there wasn't enough customization. Because you could only, if you wanted to be max level, you could only have one type of armor. And that was the Vault of Glass armor. Which is cool, because not many people had it. But to be max level, you had to have that armor, so everybody looked the same. If you were a hunter that was max level, and you met another hunter that was max level, there was no difference apart from your shader. That was it. The colour of it, that was it. And I hated that. I absolutely despised it. And then in Taken King, they introduced the fusion system, and it meant that anyone could mix and match any armor that they liked, and I fucking loved it. It meant that everyone could be different, everyone could be unique, everyone could go for different color schemes and armor styles. It could be chunky, it could be slim and slender and quick. I feel like that was a really good direction, but the base game really fucking sucked when it came to armor customization. It really did. And-
So the Borderlands 1 was as well.
Mm.
There was like no customization.
And I feel like if Destiny 2 can incorporate that fusion system, like, oh, you have this armor and you could wear it, or you could put it into that piece of armor that you really like wearing, and you can do that. And that was really what made it for me. Like, that was like the cherry on top of the cake. Really, it was nice. It was a good nod. It added some sort of individuality to a game where you looked exactly the same. I don't mean like just, oh, that pit of armor looked like that one. I mean, literally the armor looked exactly the same for every character in the first release of the game. The only time you looked different was when you weren't max level, and no one wanted to be not max level. And finally, what we're going to talk about is the rarity system and the loot.
For both games?
For Destiny 2. Just for Destiny 2. Well,
I think
about Destiny 1, but
1.
in hopes for Destiny 2.
Destiny 1, I thought the loot system was really unsatisfying. I didn't like it. I didn't like it for the start anyways. Because, you know, you mainly got your stuff at the end of the mission, eh? And I really didn't like that. You know, you don't have that chance of, a legendary could drop at any minute, any moment, a good gun, a cool ass. It felt like you were literally going through this mission and you're just killing these enemies for that possibility of a gun at the end. I don't like that.
In my opinion, first Destiny was really shit on its loot. Because it wouldn't even drop, it would just be put in your inventory. It's like, there you go, you can have that. It wouldn't even, like, there wasn't the excitement. It wasn't even the excitement of, oh, holy crap, I got that. And, like, in different raid bosses, like, what they introduced in the Taken King was the droppable loot. Like, you couldn't see exactly what was there, but you could see the rarity of it. And you could be like, oh, it could be this, like, especially from a raid boss. It's like, if it was an exotic, it could be like, oh, it could be, like, a gun, or it could be a piece of armor. Like, oh my wow. Like, oh my Jesus, wow. But you could have, like, raid-specific gear, and it would drop at purple. And you could be like, oh, it could be that chest piece that I really need. And then you pick it up and it's the legs that you've already got, and it can be exciting and underwhelming at the same time. And I feel like it didn't do quite the execution that I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like the loot, the amount of customization into the unique weapons, I feel like there was enough care in the uniques. I say not all of the uniques, like the exotics, but most of them, there was enough care for me to really appreciate it. Because there was ones where it would just be like, oh yeah, here's another grenade. And it's just like, really? That was all you could come up with? Like, I know another grenade's useful and all, but that was it? Really? I have a perk that can do that. Like, that was an actual thing. There was a perk in the Warlock's skill tree that literally gave them 2 grenades, and then there was a helmet that did the exact same thing. Like, really? But then you had other exotics like, you had Twilight Garrison, right? Which was an exotic for the Titan who could dodge. You could dodge bullets, basically. You just had to double press, and you had the ability to move in a way that you wouldn't be able to without it. And that was really good. And there were different exotics that were really good. Like, there was an exotic that was underwhelming, but it was really cool. It was called the Necrochasm. And if you killed someone with a headshot, they would explode and do damage to people around them. It was underwhelming, but it was a very visually appealing gun to use. And it was unique. No other gun did it. And it's just, they need to have enough care in the exotics and enough uniques, in my opinion, to actually affect the end game. Otherwise, it'll just be not used. Like, there'll be no point.
Yeah, definitely. So
And finally,
like Borderlands.
yeah.
So fun.
And finally, we're gonna move on. I don't have any script for this. I don't have any like spine for this topic, but we're gonna move on to Overwatch.
Haha. Hell yeah.
Fitting because of your gameplay.
Yes.
we're gonna move on to
Great game.
Overwatch, and I've played it this morning. I played it all day. I fucking hate it, but I love it. I can't stop playing it. I have no idea how you managed it.
It's really just... I just don't care about the ranking system anymore, and then when you stop caring about that, you don't see the point in getting better at the game. Because I always wanted to get better at the game, but it just... I was held back by so many things, and it just started to frustrate me, and I was like... How can I get better if a lot of these problems can be sometimes due to teammates leaving, and that means I'm still playing against, you know, guys that aren't that good at the game. You know, I can't really play against the elite characters. To get better, you need to play against the best. Yeah. And you just find yourself on that.
You need to get better in anything. You need to play against people who are either better than you or of equal skill. And in Overwatch, you get that like what, once every 10, 15 games, because the matchmaking system is so broken in that it will give you a game where, like, I was in a game earlier, right? There was me and Jess, and me and Jess were both like DPS mains, but I can flex, and we were in a game with 4 other DPS mains. There was me and this other guy with Genji mains. There was a Soldier main, a Junkrat main, a Sombra main, and a Pharah main. Not one healer, not one tank. The other team had 2 tank mains, a healer main, and 3 DPS mains. That's a fairly balanced team.
Yeah.
But it was pairing 4, 5 DPS players with a balanced team, and it was unfair, because these people will be like, well, I'm the DPS main in the team, so I'm gonna play DPS, and then you end up with 4 DPS, the one and then the 2 people who would be reluctant enough to play either tank or healer, and 9 times out of 10 it was me, and it's not fun to play. You can't play to get better, and you can't play to have fun, but it's so addicting to see if you can actually get a game that's fair.
Yeah. The good games are really good.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a really good
Every single game that I've played that I've gone, wow, I either deserve to lose that or deserve to win that, or that was a really well-earned draw. Like that one game that we uploaded, right? Where it was me on Anna, you on Bastion, and it was like a 3-point defense on King's Row. And we were like, that is the most satisfying draw we ever had. It was such a well-even matched game. I genuinely enjoyed it. I don't think I've had any more fun playing a comp match and feeling like nervous to lose but excited to win, and then it being in the middle and me not going, oh, is that it? And it was like, wow, I really enjoyed this game. And I think it's just the hunt for that to happen again, and that's why I keep playing it.
Yeah. Same with like Absolver. See when you get someone that's at your level, so not someone that's absolutely just demolishing you, that's unfair, or you're demolishing them. When it's a tense match and you're both like equal skill level, it is amazing. The adrenaline, because you know you can beat him and he knows you can beat you. You're just going full out trying your best because you aren't demotivated because you're getting destroyed, or you aren't just like, what the hell is this right now? I'm just destroying this guy. It really is where the games show how good they are, competitive games.
Would you say that the Overwatch characters are all balanced?
It's hard to say, you know, balance can always...
One of them is like, a few of them or one of them is more well-suited and well-rounded than others, and things like that.
It just changes, it's how people think and all that.
In my opinion, there is only one character that's too powerful. And it's...
Yeah, I'd agree, the balance is quite good.
Yeah, I'd say it's very, very balanced, but things are better for different situations. But there's one playable character that's too powerful, and it's Doomfist. He has an ability to one hit. I think he does 250 damage or 300 damage with that, with his Doomfist Gauntlet. And to do that much damage, that can insta-kill, I think it's at least 3/4 of the entire playable roster. Like, 3/4, just like 3/4 of the entire playable roster can be one hit by one character. And I know you could do that for Junkrat, not Junkrat, for Roadhog. But for Roadhog, he actually had to hit 2 different things in order to get that. Whereas with Doomfist, he just has to place and hold down a button. Whereas with Roadhog, you had to aim slightly above where your cursor would end up. You had to actually land the hook in order to do it. And the hook had travel time. You basically don't have travel time when you're Doomfist, and it one hits 3/4 of the roster. It's not that good, in my opinion. So, I feel like the balancing is very good in the game, though.
Yeah, it's a game with that is so difficult to, you know, that game's never going to be 100% balanced, you know. There's just too many variables, and it's what the people think as well, you know. A lot of YouTubers have said that, you know, the most powerful hero isn't always known.
Yeah. I think it's the same with every Kira, though. With every online game. What?
Yeah.
But
I thought you said Kira there, and I was like, and then I realized you said hero, and then I was like, oh, right.
but I think, yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like it's the same with every game, though, because every online multiplayer game, because you can never have the. Someone's always gonna complain. Someone's always gonna complain that one thing or a few things that are too powerful. So if that gets enough, like, complaints or notoriety, it's gonna get changed, and then another thing will be too powerful because that other thing was nerfed, and
yeah,
it's just an endless cycle. So in my opinion, I think it's just a part of online games at this point.
Yeah, Sans says he hates when he's using his ult as Reaper and then gets punched.
But like, that's another thing. Reaper's ult is fairly easy to use. You just use one ability to get to the middle of a team, and then if there's not a diva there, you press triangle, you get at least 2 kills, and you can't die whilst you're in there. Unless you get animated.
It's a fairly casual, really in-depth competitor.
Yeah. I feel like
there's a lot.
Diamond rank and below, it's very casual despite it being
so toxic.
It's very casual minded despite it being a competitive game mode. It's very casually minded. It's not like, oh wow, I really want to do competitive things and be like, oh, I can be the best. It's Diamond and below, you don't really see that. In Master, it's quite evident because you have people that do team comps and they pick the heroes that they're best at, and they fill roles that other people are better at, and everything's balanced and everyone wants to be better. But in Diamond and below, no one's really that arsed. And it's just, I think that's why Overwatch is the way it is, because I feel like most of the player base is Diamond or below.
Yeah, there's the part to Diamond. That's the largest percentage, but now the reason the reason I used to love it is, you know, just that sense of always getting better and improving.
Yeah.
And being the best at a specific role, that is really satisfying. It's like mastery. It's like getting good at painting. It's something you can see you getting better at.
Yeah.
But I started to just dislike it because the community is probably a big part to do it, and how everything turns.
Appreciate you calling us boring, Panda.
I don't know, there's multiple things that put me off it. I just stopped kind of caring. I was just I'm kind of worn out the Overwatch. I played it so much. Just when you do, it's like you like playing one hero and you like to get to the best, but then you get to a point where you want to play another hero and then you're kind of locked because people just look at your account and then they're like, oh, you've played 27 hours on Winston and you've only played 1 hour on Tracer. I'm not. Why are you playing Tracer? And then they'll go with EPS and it just all messes up. It's just once you've got those first heroes in, that's you. It becomes very linear. And it's never played how it's meant to be played. Like if every game was played like the pro scene, if everyone knew how to play and everyone was playing it like that, always making the good comps, the game would be just phenomenal. But it's just not like that. It's always whoever's got the worst comp loses. That is how the game goes. Or like
whoever's got the most suited comp to the map and stuff like that.
I am Diamond was my last rank, but I've been up near. I was up in Masters last.
You're like 38.
That was traumatic.
What's traumatic to me is I can't get back up to Master because when I'm placed, I can't get back up to even like high Diamond. Like you saw me last season, I got up to 3300, really proud of myself, and I just went on a decay of decays because I kept getting the same thing happen over and over again. Someone would want to play DPS, and that DPS wouldn't be very good in the meta. The other people would be like, huh, we could have something better than that, so I'll go that. And then you get two different DPS that clash, like McCree and Soldier, and then someone would be like, well, we don't have anything to break shields down quickly, so I'll go Junkrat or I'll go Reaper. And then you'd have triple DPS, and then you'd have the one tank that'd be reluctant, and in times it'd be two tanks. And it's not fun. I found the few games that I was in Master, like the 5 or 6, where I was actually in Master with Master players, it was so fun. Because you were always equally matched, you always had team cons that worked.
Yeah.
You were very rarely against someone who was better than you just at the game. Whereas in Diamond, you just experience toxicity and it just wrecks the entire experience. It's not fun. But
yeah,
there are upsides to it. Like when you actually achieve a goal that you've set for yourself. Like we duo queued and went straight to Master. From like 3200, we fucking grinded our asses off. But that was 2 seasons ago, you know what I mean? Like it was a very different meta, it was very different players, it was... I feel like since Chinese New Year, it's gotten such a toxic community. It's
been
just
awful, and I don't see it getting better. I think it's just going to get worse. They added the report system, and I think it's going to do absolutely nothing. I genuinely think reports are mundane things. It's like a mundane potion, you know, or like tablet. You give someone that does nothing, but people think it's doing something, so they feel better. It's that sort of thing, you know. People start telling themselves the community's getting better because of the report system when it's not, and maybe it's themselves being. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like it's the sense of I could be better and I am improving, but you're really fucking not. And it's not even your fault, because you're the one that's trying to improve.
Just held back by so many things.
You're held back by the toxic players or being placed with team comps that... Sometimes it isn't even your fault. Sometimes you're placed in matches where the 5 other people you're playing with genuinely don't know how to play a tank or a healer to the standard that they should be at that level, because they're all DPS mains or they're all support mains, and you don't have a DPS that's actually really good, because it's very rare that happens. But you know what I mean? Sometimes it's not even their fault.
Yeah.
It's just they've been thrust into a game where they're not even comfortable because they can't be comfortable.
Definitely.
It's very hit and miss. Sometimes it's your fault, like sometimes it's the player base's fault with toxicity and all that, and sometimes it's just the matchmaking system. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I've had games where I've had 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 DPS mains, and we've won clearly because the other teams had like 2 tank mains and 4 DPS mains. And I've had times where I've been steamrolled because there's been 6 DPS on one team and the other teams had 3 DPS, 2 tanks, and a healer.
That's the thing that's killer. It's just, the game's not played how it's meant to be played, you know. It's not which team's better, it's which team's worse.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. But
no,
it's more
it's
like
definitely what it is though. It's like which team has been, like which team can't be asked to put the effort in.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it is mainly. Which team just cannot be bothered. Because I find more often than not that players can play, like you get people who are really good at Soldier and they can play him to a really high standard, but in some games he just can't be bothered to put his shift in and actually do what he's meant to do.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like the state of Overwatch could be really improved if I'm not sure how it can be improved. I know what it needs to do, or like what it has to be the game that it wants to, but I don't know how it could achieve it. Like, the main thing would be to fix the matchmaking system, to actually have balanced comps, so read people's most played, and even then it would be unfair, because if people were to, like, say at the start of a new season, go, oh yeah, I want to try being a DPS main, and they've been a tank main,
yeah,
and they're put into games based on their tank status, it's not their fault. But it's also putting balanced team comps in, instead of having 4 DPS and 1 tank and 1 healer. And another thing that needs to be fixed is the toxic. It's just is the ignorance. It's not toxicity. It's ignorance and arrogance. Like, I'm better than you. You should let me do this. When in real fact, it could be like you're better than them, and they're just being an ass. It's very hit and miss, and it's just, I don't know.
Also, a common thing people, the Suns just made a joke about the meta. Being if someone's got a toxic player.
Yeah, if someone's got a toxic player, it's. I feel like if you don't have a player in there that will either babysit or be the positivity of the team, someone that's willing to just fucking throw it all out the window and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna be a positive influence. If you don't have that, it's not gonna be fun. Like, even if you win, sorry, it's not gonna be fun. If you lose, it's gonna be even worse. But if you have that small positive influence, you've got someone that is willing to go and just take all the shit and turn it into something fun or remotely better than it could have been. And I think that's a good thing.
And people do blame the meta for the toxicity, which I just think that's
bullshit.
Scapegoat. People are, just picking.
That's just a scapegoat for people to make excuses.
Because I think it's quite a good man that all the heroes were really, you need quite a lot of skill to play every hero.
Exactly.
And I like
that's why
that.
I think it's just a scapegoat.
It's either that or Deathball, and Deathball involves just shooting at the enemy team's barrier for 70% of the match, and I don't know how that is
which
more
barrier
enjoyable.
breaks, or who can output more damage. Whereas with dive, you actually have to be coordinated, and it's actually fun. That's what I find. And there's different situations in comp where you could be like, oh, dive is the meta, but it's not going to work against this team, so you have to go death ball, and it wins you a match. Like I've had that done before. Like we were full dive, Genji, Winston, all of that, and the team comp we were against were brushing off every attack that we did. Like they'd lose like 1 or 2 players, and they'd team kill the rest of us, and they were just brushing it off like it was nothing. And
yeah,
we decided, you know what, this isn't going to work. It's obviously not working now. Let's go death ball. So we had the soldier, the Reinhardt, mate. I think we were on defense. We had the Junkrat. We held and we won because we decided that the meta doesn't win matches. It's the gameplay. It's just the meta that helps you win in different cases, and it has to be particular cases that it helps. It's not going to win every single time.
yeah. Kind of get into the lost cause kind of stage, you know. That game, the half that, you know, last year and the start of this year, just like I was so involved with it so much, and it's died off because of those reasons.
Yeah. So, would you like to end the stream, Cal?
Yeah, we're coming up on 1 hour and 46 minutes. That's quite a long time of talking.
I feel that was longer than I thought it was going to be, but it was interesting debate and this discussion as well.
It's been good.
It's been a very
having
fun.
The people in.
Yeah, it's been very fun just having people listen to us rant about different things. And
something
just,
different, eh?
Well, if you look at your stream compared to mine, you have 309 comments. I have 10. I've had 3 people in here for the last 5 minutes, and that's it. I've had like 1 person the entire time. I think it might be Carl.
I just use hacks.
Yeah, you just
That's
use
good,
subscriber hacks because you know you have 200 subscribers. Fuck you. But yeah.
It's been good.
I feel like this is the conclusion of the first, and what I hope to be many, of the Inconsistent podcast. We'll see about doing it as a weekly thing, but it's
going to be
as it's named. Yeah, I was going to say, as it's named, it's probably inconsistent.
Yeah.
But saying that, it's been a nice time. It's been very good. And
You too, Sans.
thank you all for watching and listening to us, and we will see you in the next one.